Okay, so I know I'm about 4 months behind on updating my stock photography journey, so I'm just going to leave that as the introduction and let's get straight into it. So welcome back to those of you that have been following my journey, and I'm going to guess that you guys are following my journey because you're on your own stock photography journey, and it is always so much more fun when you get to do it with other people, even if they're just on the internet. And for those of you who YouTube is just introducing us, my name's Tracy from Red and the Wolf Photography, and I started this YouTube channel for basically people like me, people who wanted to start photography later in life and still had other responsibilities like kids and a mortgage and running a household and elderly parents and other things like that, because we often have a lot more responsibilities than somebody who's young and doesn't have those responsibilities. And on this channel I talk about all things photography, and especially my stock photography journey, which I started in January of this year. So if you'd like to see more of that kind of thing, then subscribe and come along on the journey with us. So today I'm giving my 10-month update as well as my 7th, 8th and 9th month update at the same time because I am well behind. So the biggest change for me is that I've ditched DepositPhotos, Pond5 and Alamy, because basically I really didn't enjoy using them. They were a pain in the bum to use, uploading and things like that. And so I've ditched them and I have taken up iStock, which is run by Getty Images. And I figured if I hated uploading to the back end, because uploading to those three was kind of like dealing with Windows 3.1. It's like they've never upgraded their back end. I figured that if the back end was kind of that bad, that customers using the other end probably were having the same kind of problems. And truthfully, all I ever made out of all three of those, I made 17 cents from DepositPhotos in over 6 months. So I didn't really feel that bad letting it go. And when I would upload to Alamy, its auto keywording suggestions were so bad. Like, it would suggest things like boat when it was clearly a tree and things like that. So I figured if it was on the back end and the AI wasn't working very well, then on the front end it probably wouldn't be working great to be finding my images either. And the other thing was I hated how Alamy would check your photos first. And I know that sounds kind of silly because you put your photos in and not put any metadata in with it. So you wouldn't put keywords or titles or anything. They would just check your photography first, which actually kind of sounds logical. That sounds like a really great thing to do, except that all the others you had to upload and put all the metadata in at the time of uploading, which meant that I'd go and do all my uploading and then at some point have to come back just to Alamy to complete the process. And since I've really spent this year trying to streamline what I'm doing and making sure that I'm working smarter, not harder, that was pulling me out of that process. So that was another reason that I was quite happy to let Alamy go. Now, as for iStock, they're kind of more in line with, say, Shutterstock and Adobe. iStock, just in case you don't know, iStock is owned by Getty Images. Now, Getty has its own site, so it has both, it owns and runs both iStock and Getty Images. So iStock, as I said, is more like your traditional stock photography, but Getty Images, they have a far more, like they work one-on-one, I think, with their photographers. You have to actually be an exclusive photographer for them, and you have to be a really high-level photographer to be part of the Getty family. So for me, I felt like I would rather be doing it over multiple stock sites at the moment and not be exclusive, because I don't feel that my photography is good enough to be in that exclusive space, because they do charge more for those images, obviously. But also I'm still learning, because sometimes I can create photos like these, and I'll pop some up on the screen. And sometimes I can still create photos like these. And again, I'll put them up on the screen. So because I'm not that consistent and I feel like I'm still learning and I'm trying all sorts of different photography styles, then I would rather just stick with, I really enjoy actually dealing with Shutterstock and iStock and Adobe Stock. There's so many. I'm trying to remember all their names. Anyway. Okay, so first of all, I want to be completely transparent. I am miles behind on my uploads and the targets I set for myself this year. And that's really embarrassing to admit, especially because I've done it all online and I've had a lot of people ask me about it. It is really embarrassing that I haven't met my targets. But that's the whole point of this channel, is I wanted to show you guys what it's like behind the scenes. Like, we've had family commitments and sickness and renovations and house stuff. This is the point, is that I'm not a 20-year-old something that has all the time in the world. I have a multitude of different things to do, and that's why I wanted to come on and create this channel, so that you guys can see that even if you're stopping and starting, just keep picking back up. Keep doing it again. So obviously most of the year I have really struggled to keep any kind of consistency, and I want to be consistent. Like, that's kind of my goal. I would love to get to the point where every week is week in, week out is kind of the same, so then I can just keep getting better. And the hope is that each time I take a hiatus, that it goes from being a chasm of time to being a blip, so that I can be more onto it. So my end of year goal hasn't actually changed. I'm still, as crazy as it sounds, aiming for 1,000 as my good goal, 1,200 as my better goal, and 1,500 as my best goal. And I do actually have some ideas of how to make up those crazy numbers, so watch this space. So without jinxing myself, touch wood, I am actually getting some constant sales through Shutterstock at the moment. I seem to be selling one about every week. Now, take into account that these are not even $1 each, so it's not like I'm making huge numbers or anything, but the fact that I'm actually getting some more consistent sales is really heartening. So on Shutterstock, July I had 2 sales and I got 86 cents. August I had 5 sales and I earned 50 cents. September I had 6 sales and I earned 63 cents. And October I had 6 sales and I earned $1.65. So I'm pretty happy with that. Compare that to 1 sale in January, 1 sale in February, 3 sales in March, nothing in April, 3 in May, and then none in June. I'm quite happy with how that's trending upwards. As I said, touch wood, hopefully not jinxing myself here. But the really interesting thing is I have uploaded some, but the majority of what I've uploaded were from January and February. So as at today, I have 34 downloads on Shutterstock, an earning of $8.34, and a total portfolio of 237 accepted images on Shutterstock. And as for Adobe stock, I have 185 accepted images. Now keep in mind, I am submitting the same photos to all of the agencies, and I've made a total of $4.39 on Adobe. Now this is quite interesting because about half of that was from actual sales, and the other half of that was from some sort of creative fund, so I got an extra $2 something from that. But ultimately what I'm after is more sales, because I can't rely on them giving us an extra creator bonus every now and then. Also, just as a side note, Adobe's taking about 3 weeks at the moment to approve photos. So if you guys are thinking of doing anything for Cyber Weekend or Black Friday or Thanksgiving, I'd get them in today. I would have got them in like 3 months ago maybe. But if you're still thinking of doing some, make sure you get them in ASAP, because they will take that long to be approved. And B, anything that you want to get in for Christmas and New Year's, absolutely now's the time, because put it this way, companies, social media managers, they are going to be sorting out their Christmas stuff now. So the sooner you get that done and up, the better, and the more chance that you are to sell something. Now over the rest of November, I have some plans to do some pretty large photo shoots so that I can start getting a lot more stock and get them up. And I'm definitely going to be doing videos and behind the scenes of it, so if you guys want to really rack up those numbers before you hit the next year, then come along and do them with me. So that's me for the October roundup. And if you guys could do any of the YouTube things, that's always greatly appreciated, like or subscribe or notification, especially the notification at the moment if you guys are wanting to keep up with any of the behind the scenes, getting more stock up, especially ready for Christmas and New Year's, then hit the notification bell, and that would be awesome. And I'll see you guys in the next video.